I'm Brian Hayward, a member of the Technology Integration Specialist team here at Richland 2. We all know that this spring, because of COVID-19, teaching and learning was a shock to us, having to move from the classroom to a virtual environment. So our team, along with other teams here at Richland 2, got together and prepared for this to be the summer of professional learning and development. We trained over 2,000 teachers and we focused on specialized groups here in the district to make sure that our fine arts teachers, to make sure our long-term substitutes, to make sure that administration and instructional aides were ready to engage in the learning process this fall. It didn't matter whether it was face-to-face, it didn't matter if it was a hybrid model or a virtual model. We wanted to make sure our teachers and our students and their families had the tools needed to engage in learning. Using AVID strategies and other instructional strategies, we have prepared teachers to take on the challenge of education, to present rigorous and high-achieving content, and also to gather data from students in many different ways. Here's an example of a sample lesson with some of our Richland 2 board members posing as students.
I want to give you a little bit of context so that you understand what you're seeing throughout this lesson. So this is a sample learning path or a student pathway. So students will get something similar to this each day that will take them through the day's lesson. So on this particular student pathway, this is just for ELA, but on this particular pathway, you'll see that the student has 4 tasks that they need to complete in order to complete this lesson in its entirety. So step 1 of the learning path is a video that students would watch ahead of time on their own time. And if you were to have watched this video, then you would have seen me reviewing a previous sound spelling card that we would have already talked about in a previous week during class. And you would also see me introducing a new sound spelling card to the students, which is going to be what we're going to be learning about today. So at the end of the video, I asked students to brainstorm a list of words that they could come up with, words that have the R sound in them, words like car, park, barn, those kind of words, because that's the sound and the spelling that we're going to be focusing on for this lesson. So now this is where we would pick up in step 2 of the learning path. And we're going to assume that you all have watched the video in step 1, and we're going to move on to this step 2, which is when we are going to be joining together as a group in a live Google Meet session for some synchronous learning time together and to do some guided practice together. So you'll see that it lists the materials on here. I've asked you to bring 2 pieces of paper. So if you have a couple pieces of paper near you, that would be great because you'll need them in just a second. And then a pen or a pencil. We're going to go ahead and pick up on from here, pretend like we are meeting together for a live Google Meet session. So are we ready? All right. So hello, friends. I'm so excited that you guys are able to join me today. I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down to show me what kind of day you're having. Oh man, I am loving it. I'm seeing so many thumbs up. That makes me so happy to see all of those. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Last week, if you remember, we learned about the stork card, and the stork card reminds us of the OR sound, spelled O-R, and you guys became experts at reading words with the OR sound in them and spelling them. And so now we are going to introduce a new sound spelling card. And if you were able to watch the video in step 1, you already know what that sound spelling card is. But if you didn't, go ahead and give me a drum roll. Unmute your microphones and give me a drum roll. Sound spelling card is the armadillo card. And the armadillo card reminds us of the R sound. And we know that when we hear that R sound in words, we spell that A-R. So this is where I might ask you guys to share some of the words that you had brainstormed after watching that video in step 1. But we are going to go over our learning target for today. So I know that at the end of our time together today, you guys are going to be able to say, I can read and spell words with the R sound. And you guys are such experts, you're going to be able to do that. So now we are going to read some words together. So in just a second, I am going to make a word pop up on the screen, and I'm going to model for you how we're going to sound out that word. But I need you to go ahead and put on your reading goggles. Can you put on your reading goggles for me? And I want you to be looking for that R spelling that we just talked about. Are you ready? All right, watch Miss Hinks how I blend this word together. All right, here's the first sound. I see that R spelling, so I'm going to say R, and then I'm going to blend it. Arm. Unmute your microphone, and I want you guys to blend this word with me. When my cursor goes under the sound, I want you to say the sound that you hear, and then we'll blend it together. Are you ready? Here we go. R. What's the word?
R.
Wait, let's do another one. You guys have now read some words with the R sound in them. Now we're going to practice writing some words with the R spelling. So I am going to call out a word, and I want you to write it in the first block of your piece of paper. Thumbs up if you're ready. All right. The word that I want you to write is car. But before you write it, I want to see everybody, just like we do in class, I want to see you stretch that word out. So if everyone put your hands together in front of your camera like this and unmute your mic for me so I can hear you. And you're going to watch Miss Hinks stretch this word, and then you're going to do it with me. Are you ready? So the word is car, but we're going to stretch that word out. R. Write that paper and then hold it up in your camera so I can see it. Write the word car. All right, I'm looking. I see it, Mr. Davis, Dr. Davis. Great, I see the word car. You got that R spelling. Great, Dr. Clashton Parker.
I'm that student who just lost their pen.
So you guys know that when we are in class, I call you guys to come to my table and we read together. We're going to do the same thing. You're going to read together on the computer. So I have a book I'm getting ready to show you with a bunch of words that have the R spelling in them. And we're going to take turns reading this book together. And I'm going to call on you to read. If it's not your turn to read, if your microphone is muted, you can still practice reading that book out loud. So I'm going to be calling on some friends to help me read. So the book we're going to read, if you have your reading goggles on, you'll see there are lots of words that have the R in them. This book is called Barb's Sharp Car. And I want you to be thinking about Barb's Sharp Car. What do they mean by car sharp? Because I think of the word sharp like knives and things that can maybe hurt you, and it doesn't look like there's anything sharp on that car. So I want you to be thinking as we read Barb's Sharp Car, what the author might mean by the word sharp. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to have you guys read it, but we would take turns reading this book together. You guys have become such great experts at reading and writing and spelling words with the R sound. So we are going to play a game to wrap up our time together. I know how much you guys like games. So on your other piece of paper that you brought with you, I want you to go ahead and just tear it in half. And on one of the pieces of paper, I want you to write the R spelling. And on the other piece of paper, I want you to write the OR spelling. R and OR. And I'm going to call out a word, and I need you to go ahead and put on your supersonic ears. Put your supersonic ears on, and I want you to listen to the word I'm going to say and hold up which sound that you hear. Are you ready? Thumbs up if you got your cards ready. Okay. The first word is corn. Corn. Wow. I see 4 of you already quickly knew OR. Great job. That's great. All right. The second word is marker. Marker. Wow. Look at how quick you guys are holding up those cards. Y'all heard the R sound in marker. Great job. So I would go through this and do a few more words with the students to play this game. And then that will wrap up our time together. And so now you guys are such experts on the R sound and the spelling of the word R Now it's time for you guys to move on to step 3 of your learning path. And this is where you're going to do some independent practice time together. And you guys in your Google Classroom, you have a lesson that I want you to work on. And this will be so easy for you guys because you guys just blew me away with that lesson, where you're going to be building words with the magnets down here. You're going to build words like car and barn and shark. So you're going to practice building those words to show me everything that you've learned. And then step 4 of your learning path is your exit ticket, where you're going to get to go tell your mom or your dad or your grandma or your sister or your brother 5 words that you learned that have the R sound in spelling.